extensor muscles of the vertebral column. If we see extensor muscles of the vertebral column, most of the extensor muscles of the vertebral column are located posteriorly. So the name of the muscles which can extend the vertebral column, those are the sacrospinal muscles. Sacrospinalis muscles. This is one more we can say that erector spinae muscles. Erector spinae muscles. These are the very important muscles. Erector spinae muscles. These muscles are going to helpful in the extension of the vertebral column. So these muscles which are presented here, these muscles are arranged in three layers. Not three layers. Three different patterns. First one, medially oriented muscles, and laterally oriented muscles, and intermediate muscles. How I am saying means, suppose this is vertebral column. If we take medial muscles, these muscles will be medial to the vertebral column. If we take lateral muscles, these muscles will be lateral to the vertebral column. Intermediate muscles will be between medial and lateral muscles of the vertebral column. So from sacrum, these muscles are coming from the sacrum. These muscles are coming from the sacrum, and it is going to attach to the occipital bone. It is going to attach to the occipital bone at skull. Okay, skull. If we take, occipital is the part of the skull, so this is our occipital bone. So the muscles, what and all muscles we are discussing, all the muscles are coming from the sacrum, and it is going to insert into the occipital bone of the skull. And the muscles which and all we are seeing in posterior compartment of the vertebral column. Here these muscles are connected to the transverse processes, spinous process and ribs. Transverse process, spinous process of the all the vertebrae from cervical to thoracic and lumbar. So in these three regions, these muscles are connected to transverse process, spinous process. At the same time, these muscles are connected to the ribs also. Now we will see these erector spinae muscles. First one we are seeing lateral portion of the erector spinae muscles. The lateral portion of the erector spinae muscle, it is the name that is iliocostalis. The name muscle is iliocostalis. Understand the names nicely. Ilio means ilium, that means it is the part of the hip bone. Costalis, wherever we see costal, that is nothing but the rib. So that means the name itself is saying that it is connected to hip bone and the ribs also. It is the lateral portion, iliocostalis. Suppose from here, muscle will start. This is the lateral portion, iliocostalis. It is connected to ribs also. This is the muscle. This is iliocostalis muscle. In this muscle, if we see in this muscle is having the fibers of iliocostalis cervicis, iliocostalis thoracis, iliocostalis lumborum. What it means? It is going to give connection to the cervical region, that is iliocostalis cervicis. If it is connected to the thoracic region, this is ribs thoracic region, iliocostalis thoracis, and this is lumborum at the lumbar spine. This is iliocostalis lumborum. So this is the lateral muscle what we will see in the erector spinae. Now we will see medial muscle, erector spinae. Which muscle we will see in the medial portion? The most medial portion of the muscle, that muscle name is spinalis muscle. It is going to attach to the spinous process and transverse processes of this region. This is see spinalis muscle from here thoracic spine, from here the spinalis muscle. This is the medial muscle. It will be like this is the spinalis muscle. Understand, this is lateral muscle, this is medial muscle. The spinous muscle is having the portions of spinalis cervicis and spinalis thoracis. That means this muscle is having connection to the cervical spine, at the same time thoracic spine. There is no connection to the lumbar spine. This is the medial muscle of the erector spinae. If we see erector spinae, intermediate portion. So it's clear, intermediate portion between lateral and medial will be having intermediate portion. The name of the intermediate portion muscle, the muscle name is longissimus. Muscle. In this muscle we are having the longissimus cervicis and thoracis. Longissimus cervicis and thoracis. If we see the muscle, it will be like this. So from here cervicis portion will be there and thoracic portion will be there. This is longissimus muscle. It is the intermediate muscle. It will be having cervical portion and thoracic portion. This is about the muscles of the knee. Erector spinae, also called as sacrospinal muscles. What it means? From sacrum muscles will come and it will insert to the spine. Okay, from sacrum muscles will come, it will insert to the spine. So here these muscles, all these three group of muscles are connected to the one special. All these muscles come from the sacrum triaphasia. Then it will divide into lateral portion, medial portion, intermediate portion. It will follow through the lumbar spine, thoracic spine, cervical spine. Then finally the muscle which is inserted into the occipital bone of the skull. Apart from these muscles, we are having some other muscles in the extensors. the muscles which we saw till now, these are the muscles of the erector spine. Some muscles are there, those muscles are present deep to the erector spine, deep to the erector spine. That means some group of muscles are present inside, mean deep to the erector spinal muscles. Those muscles are the semi-spinalis. First one, semi-spinalis muscle. So these medial portions are spinalis muscles, we saw that, but deep to these muscles are semi-spinalis. Semi-spinalis muscles will be having the portions of semi-spinalis, cervicis and thoracis, and cervicis and thoracis. These are the deep muscles. Now if we see the muscles how it will be, so from cervical region, cervicis and thoracis, these muscles are present deep to the erector spine. This is semi-spinalis muscle group. And one more muscle is there, that is very important, multifidus. Multifidus muscle. This is also very important muscle. This muscle also we are having connections from cervical region to the sacrum, This is multifidus. So these are the muscles. Apart from these muscles, two more muscles are there. Those are interspinal muscles, and one more intertransverse muscles. What is this mean? Suppose if we take one vertebra, this one more vertebra, this is the transverse process, mean this is the spinous process. Spinous process. Between the spinous process muscle will be there, that is interspinous muscle. And if we take what, this is lateral view, this is lateral view. And if we take one more vertebra, see these are the transverse processes of the vertebra, this is anterior. Between transverse processes muscle will be there, that is intertransverse muscle, like ligament, intertransverse ligament, interspinous ligament, same like that. Here will be having the muscle. So in the vertebral column posteriorly, if you see, erector spinal group of muscles will be there. Deep to the erector spinal group muscles will be having semi-spinalis and multifidus muscle will be there. Apart from this, will be having interspinous muscles and intertransverse muscles will be there. All these muscles together are going to helpful for the extension of the vertebral column. And here one special point, if we see these extensor group muscles, in these extensor group muscles, type 1 muscle fiber is present in the longissimus muscle and multifidus muscle. Type 1 muscle fibers are discovered in the, identified in the longissimus and multifidus muscle. What is the use of this type 1 muscle fibers? These type 1 muscle fibers are the slow twitch muscle fibers. This type 1 are slow twitch muscle fibers and highly oxidative, at the same time low glycolytic capacity of this muscle. So these are the characteristics of the type 1 muscle fibers. So these type 1 muscle fibers are identified in the multifidus and longissimus muscles in the thoracic region. Same muscles, if you see multifidus and longissimus muscles. If you see multifidus and longissimus muscles in thoracic region only, these muscles are having type 1 muscle fibers when compared to lumbar and cervical. If you see lumbar region of the same muscle, these fibers won't be there. If you see lumbar region of the same longissimus muscle, we won't get this type 1 muscle fibers. So and the action of these muscles are going to create the extension in the vertebral column. Action of these muscles, if muscle are contacted like this, action of these muscles are going to create the extension in the vertebral column. Suppose imagine this is the vertebral column, this is anterior, this is posterior. Here we are having abdominal muscles. Here completely extensor compartment, completely we are having the extensor muscles. Okay, just for imagination I am doing like this. So this is our pelvis, this is our pelvis. Okay, pelvic region. Okay, here we are having our lower limb. Now if this is our head, this is our head. Okay, if the person is doing flexion, here flexor muscles will work, that is 1. Okay, so now if the person is doing extension, the contraction of the extensor muscles we need. So because of the contraction of the extensor muscles, here we will get the extension, that is 1 point. Okay, leave it. Now we see third point, when the person is doing flexion, vertebral column flexion, here apart from abdominal muscles, here abdominal muscle role is little less. Here who will work more means gravity. Okay, gravity is going to increase the range of the vertebral column flexion. At the same time, how much flexion we should get, it is controlled by the extensor muscles. What the point means, when the person is going for flexion, suppose see here, when the person is coming for flexion, this is the person head, this is lower limb. So when the person is coming for flexion, here abdominal muscles are going to contract little less only, but complete the muscles which are present here, extensor compartment, that's what the point here. How much range we should get in this flexion will be controlled by the extensor group of muscles. So here when we are doing flexion, extensor muscle groups are going for the eccentric contraction, contraction. Eccentric means lengthening. So once we reach the end of the point of flexion, what it means, the muscles which are present here, extensor compartment, are not enough to stretch more, because of that reason here our flexion movement will stop. So understand the point. When we are doing flexion movement, the extensor muscles which are present here posteriorly, it will contract eccentrically. The muscle ability, if the muscle ability is stopped to contract eccentrically furthermore, then flexion movement will be stopped. So that is the action of the extensor muscles. And at the same time when we are doing the extension, same thing will apply to the abdominal muscles. Okay, this is about the extensors of the vertebral column. Clear?